हेलो फ्रेंड्स, 28 अप्रैल 2023 करंट अफेयर्स में आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मीटिंग ऑफ द शंघाई कोऑपरेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इंटर बैंक कंसोर्टियम, द वेरी फर्स्ट रिपोर्ट। Under the chairmanship of India, the XX Council meeting of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Interbank Consortium was held in Goa. SCO Interbank Consortium was established by the member countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization on 26 October 2005. It provides funding and bank services for investment projects sponsored by the governments of the SCO member states. The main objectives of the consortium are to provide financial services, promote trade, and facilitate investment among the member states. The SCO-IBC Council meets and hawk upon the consonance of all the parties at least once per year. The presidency of the council is carried out on a rotational basis. It consists of major banks from the member countries such as the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the National Bank of Kazakhstan, and the Bank of Russia. The first meeting of the SCO Interbank Association was held in Beijing on 21-22 February 2006. Lesser Flamingo, the very next report. After a 6-year absence, the Lesser Flamingos have finally found their way back to Pulicat Lake. Lesser flamingo is the smallest of all flamingos but has the largest population. It possesses the hallux or hind toe that some other flamingos do not have. Males are a little taller than females. It inhabits coastal and inland wetlands, Africa, Asia continents, and in that especially Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, North Africa. They mostly eat blue-green algae but occasionally will take crustaceans and small insects. It is serially monogamous, meaning they form pairs that remain together while they are raising the young. Conservation status: IUCN Near Threatened. Pulicat Lake is the second largest brackish water lake in the country. It lies at the border of the states of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Majorly lies in Andhra Pradesh. European Free Trade Association, the very next report. India and the four-nation bloc EFTA recently discussed ways to resume negotiations for a free trade agreement with a view to strengthening economic ties between the two regions. European Free Trade Association is an intergovernmental organization established in 1960 by the Stockholm Convention. Objective is to promote free trade and economic integration between its members within Europe and globally. EFTA currently has 4 member countries: Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Switzerland. The EFTA countries have developed one of the largest networks of free trade agreements. These FTAs span over 60 countries and territories, including the European Union. In contrast to the European Union, EFTA is not a customs union. This means that the individual EFTA states are free to set their own customs, tariffs, and arrange other foreign trade measures vis-a-vis the non-EFTA states. EFTA's highest governing body is the EFTA Council. It generally meets 8 times a year at the ambassadorial level and twice a year at the ministerial level. The headquarters of the EFTA Secretariat is located in Geneva. It assists the EFTA Council in the management of relations between the 4 EFTA states and deals with the negotiation and operation of EFTA's FTAs. EFTA Surveillance Authority monitors compliance with European Economic Area rules in Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. EFTA Court is based in Luxembourg and has the competence and authority to settle internal and external disputes regarding the implementation, application, or interpretation of the EEA agreement. European Economic Area consists of the member states of the European Union and 3 countries of the European Free Trade Association: Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway, excluding Switzerland. India's first solar city, the very next report. Sanchi, a World Heritage Site located in Madhya Pradesh, is all set to become India's first solar city. It is located in the Raisin district of Madhya Pradesh. It lies in an upland plateau region just west of the Betwa River. Sanchi is a religious place with historical and archaeological significance. It has India's best preserved group of Buddhist monuments, collectively designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1989. The site of Sanchi comprises a group of Buddhist monuments, monolithic pillars, palaces, temples, and monasteries, all in different states of conservation, most of which date back to 2nd and the 1st centuries BC. It is the oldest Buddhist sanctuary in existence and was a major Buddhist center in India until the 12th century AD. The most prominent stupa found here is the Sanchi Stupa, also known as the Great Stupa. Other remains at the site include several smaller stupas, an assembly hall, chatya, an Ashokan pillar with inscriptions, and several monasteries, 4th to 11th century CE. Sanchi Stupa was built by Mauryan Emperor Ashoka in the 3rd century BC. It enshrines religious relics of remains of Buddha and his most revered disciples. It is enclosed by a massive stone railing, pierced by 4 gateways, which are adorned with elaborate carvings known as Sanchi sculpture. The stupa itself consists of base bearing a hemispherical dome, symbolizing the dome of heaven enclosing the earth. Code on Social Security 2020 and Gig Workers. The very next report. The Ministry of State for Labour and Employment told the Lok Sabha that the definition of GIG worker and platform worker has been provided for the first time in the Code on Social Security 2020. The code aims to regulate the organized, unorganized, or any other sectors and extend social security benefits during sickness, maternity, disability, etc. to all employees and workers across different organizations. The code undertakes integrating the following 9 labor laws relating to social security into one integrated code. The code has widened coverage by including the unorganized sector, fixed-term employees and GIG workers, platform workers, interstate migrant workers, in addition to contract employees. The code applies to everyone on wages in an establishment irrespective of occupation. All records and returns have to be maintained electronically. Digitization of data will help in exchange of information among various stakeholders. Funds set up by the government will ensure compliance and also facilitate governance. The provision of maternity benefits has not been made universal and is presently applicable for establishments employing 10 workers or more. The definition of establishment in the proposed code did not include the unorganized sector. Hence, women engaged in the unorganized sector would remain outside the purview of maternity benefits. Any failure to deposit employees' contributions not only attracts a penalty of rupees 1 crore but also imprisonment of 1 to 3 years. In the case of repeated offence, the penalties and prosecution as civil and no compounding is permitted for repeated offences. GIG workers. According to the Code on Social Security 2020, a GIG worker is a person who performs work on, participates in work arrangements and earns from such activities outside of the traditional employer-employee relationship. They are independent contractors, online platform workers, contract from workers, on-call workers and temporary workers. 6th edition of One Earth, One Health Advantage Healthcare India 2023. The Prime Minister inaugurated the 6th edition of One Earth, One Health Advantage Healthcare India 2023 meet and expressed India's commitment to making healthcare accessible and affordable not only for its citizens but for the whole world. The need for an integrated, inclusive, and institutional global response to healthcare challenges was discussed, and India's traditional healthcare systems that holds many answers to stress and lifestyle diseases was highlighted. The two-day conclave, attended by health ministers of several countries and other stakeholders from public and private sectors, aims to promote global collaborations and partnerships for achieving universal health coverage through value-based healthcare. The event also aims to showcase India's strength in medical value travel as an exporter of healthcare workforce providing value-based healthcare services and its emergence as a major hub for world-class healthcare and wellness services. Big Catch-up Initiative. The very next report. A global effort called the Big Catch-up was announced by various health organizations. Implementing partners are WHO, World Health Organization, UNICEF, UNICEF, United Nations Integrated Child Education Fund, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Immunization Agenda 2030 and other health partners. Objective is to boost childhood vaccination rates and reverse declines caused by the child COVID-19 pandemic. 20 countries including India where three-quarters of the children who missed vaccinations in 2021 live. It will strengthen healthcare workforces, improve health service delivery, build demand for vaccines, and address obstacles through restoring immunization. Current coverage in India. Full immunization coverage among 12-23-month-old children, 12 to 23-month-old children increased from an estimated 62% in 2015 to 2016 to 76% in 2019 to 2020. Immunization Agenda 2030, launched in 2021, has set a target of avoiding 50 million vaccine preventable infections in this decade. It intends to reduce the number of zero-dose children by 50% and achieve 90% coverage for essential vaccines given in childhood and adolescence. Quasars, the very next report. According to a new study, quasars the brightest and the most powerful objects in the universe. The quasars, as shown in picture above. The quasi-stellar radio sources quasars were first discovered 6 decades ago. These are very luminous objects in faraway galaxies that emit jets at radio frequencies. They are located in supermassive black holes which sit in the center of galaxies. These are found by the energy emitted by materials spiraling around a black hole right before being sucked into it. Most quasars are larger than our solar system. A quasar is approximately 1 kiloparsec in width. When galaxies collide, it pushes the gas from the outer reaches of the galaxies to the center. As the supermassive black hole gorges on the gas, it releases ferocious fountains of energy in the form of radiation, leading to quasar. United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. The very next report. United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues called for inclusion of indigenous people in socio-economic development and conservation of the environment. United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues is a high-level advisory body to the Economic and Social Council. The forum was established on 28th of July 2000 by Resolution 2000 by 22. It has the mandate to deal with indigenous issues related to economic and social development, culture, the environment, education, health, and human rights. The first meeting of the Permanent Forum was held in May 2002, with yearly sessions thereafter. The forum usually meets for 10 days each year at the UN headquarters in New York. The Permanent Forum is one of the 3 UN bodies that is mandated to deal specifically with indigenous peoples' issues. The others are the Expert Mechanism on the Right of Indigenous Peoples and the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. The UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues is the largest international gathering of indigenous peoples with more than 1,000 participants expected to attend. The 22nd session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues will convene in New York from 17 to 28 April 2023. It has the theme Indigenous Peoples, Human Health, Planetary and Territorial Health and Climate Change, a rights-based approach. Thurnali Temple urged to conserve. The very next report. The Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage has urged the government to conserve the Thurnali Temple. The Thurnali Mahavishnu Temple is an iconic temple in Wayan, Kerala, near Brahmagiri Hills. It is also known as Shahayam Kshetram, and Kashi of the south. Tirunelveli temple embodies classical traditional Kerala culture. A famous pilgrim center, this temple which is dedicated to Lord Vishnu. It is considered an important pilgrimage center for Hindus. It is located at the confluence of three rivers. Papanashini, the holy river, which is believed to have the power to wash away sins, Kadamurti, and Kutha Puja. The temple has a unique circular structure made of granite stones, which is believed to have constructed by Lord Brahma himself. Tirunelveli temple is the only temple in the world where the devotees can perform all the rituals related to one's life, starting from birth to death and life after death. Tughlakabad Fort, ASI to remove encroachments. The very next report. The Delhi High Court asked the ASI to remove encroachments around the Tughlakabad Fort. The Tughlakabad Fort in Delhi, which is in complete ruins now, was built by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was first Sultan of Tughlaq dynasty in 1321. It lends its name to the nearby Tughlaqabad residential commercial area as well as the Tughlaqabad institutional area. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq also built the Qutb-Badarpur Road, which connected the new city to the Grand Trunk Road. The road is now known as Mehruli Badarpur Road. Surroundings are an important biodiversity area within the Northern Aravalli Leopard Wildlife Corridor stretching from Sariska Tiger Reserve to Delhi. This is all about 28th April 2023 current affairs. Thank you. Please share, like and watch my channel as more as possible.